Hi guys, welcome back to Movie Recap. In this video, I'm going to recap one of the films from 2017, Other Life. Without any further, let's get started. The movie opens with a close-up of a woman's blue eye. The swirling array of blue and green replaces the image of a bridge on the ocean. Wearing black swimsuits, Ren Amari and Jared Amari sit on the beach. Jared is asked by Ren if he wants to return to the ocean. Despite his refusal and question about whether she will remain there constantly, Ren tempers him with the goggles and flippers. He caves in. Both of them glide across the clear water. Another swirling image settles into a window view of a skyscraper. When Ren opens her eyes, a trickle of black fluid drips from her right eye. As she sits on the ground, empty plastic eyedroppers are all around her. According to a countdown clock, Other Life will end in a little more than 6 days. Voiceover opens with Ren sitting in a Drug Administration interview with the TDA. Her outstanding academic record, which ended 4 years ago, is mentioned by an interviewer. In response, Ren says that her brother almost drowned in an accident. When the interviewer offers her condolences, Ren clarifies that her brother had survived the incident. They talk of Other Life as a hard-to-classify technology. Ren characterizes it as biological software that enables the programming of new memories that are chemically identical to reality rather than a drug. Ren goes to see her brother at the hospital. He has been in a coma. After setting up a laptop and headpiece device to read his brainwaves, she uses another eyedropper to drip the black fluid into his eye. Then, while on the train, Ren turns down a call from her father, Robert, before reaching a busy office. Byron, a coworker, instructs her to empty her queue of approvals. Back in her other life, Ren jumps out of a plane and parachutes to the ground before she wakes up in a testing room with Byron. When the interview is resumed, it becomes clear that Ren's father has been outspoken about the possible risks associated with her extended use of technology. He worries that physical symptoms might include brain death and seizures. Ren knows that there are risks because abusing any substance can be dangerous. In a voiceover, Ren examines a hiking trip while describing her technology. She describes it as a script that the brain uses pieces of the subconscious to construct a wonderful day, just like it would any other memory. However, she adds that there is no possibility that it will continue past that point. Ren puts her snowboarding skills to the test by climbing a snow-covered mountain and then snowboarding down it. However, the same thing happens again, bringing her back to the cottage in the morning. As the setting changes and warps around her, she finds herself trapped until Byron is able to free her. She had already spent 6 days in the experience by the time he did that. She is adamant that she can patch the code and that they can still use it because the snowboarding experience was supposed to be a big sale. During a sales meeting, Sam, who co-founded Other Life with Ren, introduces the concept to potential clients. He describes it as a viable form of leisure time where people can go on full excursions before work or during their lunch break. Sam describes how Other Life may add years' worth of experiences to someone's life and was more than just a simulation. As he wraps up the presentation, he asks the clients what they would like to do with their other lives. When Ren shows up, Sam introduces her as one of his co-founders and wants her to explain some of the science underlying the technology. After the discussion, Sam and Ren don't agree on what the business needs moving ahead. As she leaves the meeting, Ren runs into Danny, who was waiting for a date she had forgotten about. She says she's sorry, but she needs to go to work. Back to the interview. The interviewers read aloud passages from reports about how users may get detached from reality. They describe how such an encounter could appear lonely. That night, Ren and Byron stay up late fixing the snowboarding experience. Based on the particular countdown clock, Other Life will end in roughly 5 days. Ren locates the code error and successfully tests the updated version. As they continue to work late, Byron inquires as to how many tests Ren has completed. She tells him 482, which he compares to spending around 20 days in an other life in one actual day. Danny arrives to give a report on the long-term use of Other Life that Sam asked for. Ren admits that she was unaware of it, As she reads it, she insists that Byron not approach Sam behind her back. Byron believes that the recursive bug they've been experiencing may hold the secret to extended simulations. Ren stays behind to continue working, but he and Danny decide to go out for drinks. She and her brother repeat the swimming simulation once more, and the empty droppers from her testing are all around him. She notes the outcome of her 340th test and declares that further testing is necessary. The interviewers discuss medical applications of other life for brain and memory disorders, along with the potential moral issues, considering that it puts ideas into people's heads. Ren insists that she doesn't have any more applications in mind. Ren goes back to her brother's bedside to give him another chance at other life. She feels hopeful as his eye twitches. When a nurse comes over, she hides her tech and asks him about it. The nurse admits that sometimes things like eye twitches do occur. She leaves and returns home to check the data. She receives an email from her father regarding turning off her brother's life support. The following day, Ren goes to see her father at the college where he teaches. They talk about the morality, advancement, and the benefits of other life for her brother. Despite her dad's concerns about a malfunction, she insists that it's simply bad code. He believes that although the brain is more complex than that, sadness, anxiety, and other mental illnesses might also simply be bad code. Ren accuses him of giving up on her brother and claims that if he is conscious, all he needs is a way out. Her father claims he might unplug her brother without her permission and is simply asking for her support. She asks Cass, another coworker, to assist her in removing her data from the system. Byron and Sam observe that the quantity of nanite stock they have been handling is far greater than the results of her tests. When they ask what simulation she's using, she just responds that it's still experimental. After Byron leaves, she speaks with Sam alone. He suggests that people could be rehabilitated and given the opportunity to serve out their sentences in a matter of minutes by using other life as a jail. When Ren declines, Sam becomes enraged and yells at her to return to work on the actual product. She walks out and bumps into Danny. When he tries to find out what's wrong, she refuses to discuss anything. Instead, Ren demonstrates snowboarding to Danny. They discuss how everything is a chemical, including memory. Danny says he was surprised by how authentic the experience seemed. Then, as Ren is checking her phone, Danny takes another dropper out of her purse and gives it a try, believing it to be another snowboarding experience. Rather, he receives one of Ren's experimental ones in which she and her brother go swimming. Ren calls an ambulance because he is having seizures and won't wake up. The countdown clock is a little under 5 days from release. Sam and Ren speak with legal counsel. When they refer to other life as a narcotic, she corrects them and clarifies that it is actually software. Sam chooses to speak with Ren alone and asks her about what happened to Danny. All the others had been tried and approved time and time again, but Ren was the only one who had tried that experience. A cut to the interview. The interviewer questions her about her goals for the technology, but Ren is not responding. In order to resolve the matter without putting Ren in jail, Sam makes arrangements for Ren to consent to a 1-year imprisonment in other life as a trial patient instead of facing charges. She doesn't want to, but Sam forces her to do it in order to keep the business afloat. She realizes that Sam was still planning to employ the tech's imprisonment application behind her back. Sam is insistent that a minute of her life is better than nothing at all, considering that she killed someone using an untested sample. She agrees. Ren, Sam, Byron, and a few authorities enter the testing room.
The confinement program.
Since the 365-day trial is far longer than the typical 24-hour simulation, Ren anxiously asks Byron to confirm that everything has been checked. After Byron puts it into her eyes, she realizes that she is in a little space with a screen with the big numbers 001 on one wall. The electronic buzz from the digital number is clear to her. The room has a sleeping mat, a toilet, a tablet and pen, and a hatch for food, water, and toiletries. She works out, eats, writes notes on her tablet on how to make the place better, only to realize that no one else could see those remarks. When the cell resets for the day, the light goes red and the number changes to 002. She recalls Danny seizing and Ren banging her head against the wall. On the third day, Ren distracts herself by humming and reaching her fingers between the grates on the floor. She recalls swimming with her brother and losing him, seeing him wash up on the shore. She assures her brother that she will never forget him. She starts tracking people who woke up from long comas and will initiate their recovery. As the days pass, she debates with herself whether or not her brother is indeed dead and whether or not programming can bring him back to life. On day 365, she watches as the lights change to red. The room then resets to 001. When Ren realizes that the exit plan has failed, she becomes panicked. She yells and begins shattering things. She eventually lays still in the damaged room while the wind begins to whistle. She opens the hatch and finds a gap, which she pushes at. Through the gap, she finds a plastic sheet and rips it. She climbs into an area that resembles a warehouse that contains her cell covered in plastic sheeting. She finds supplies of the food and water she had been drinking, and a guard's desk, a monitor room. As the guard comes back to his station and notices her, she gets the keys and a coat, stealing a truck as a way to flee. Ren sees herself strolling down a busy street, watching people everywhere and seeing ads for other life. After calling the hospital to inquire about her brother, Ren goes to her office to discover it is empty. While purchasing new clothes, she notices Sam's face on the cover of a magazine. As she speaks with the police, they find that although a missing persons report has been made for her, she was also identified as having lived in Italy for a year prior. She tries to explain to them what happened with the other life, including the fact that she was a co-founder, but the police are unable to locate any proof that she was charged. When they go to examine the cell, they find nothing but crumbs. She checks her apartment, but the front desk employee won't allow her to look for her belongings because someone else has been living there for the past year. In the meantime, Sam shows up, saying he came as soon as he heard and wanted to get her to a safe place. Sam is denied entry to the building by the front desk employee, and Ren makes an effort to avoid him. Eventually, she is able to leave quietly so Sam won't notice. Ren seeks help from Cass, who grants her entry and provides her with food. According to Cass, the other staff believed that Ren had cashed out and left for Italy without saying goodbye. Ren also learns that Danny survived and reunites with him. When Ren, Cass, and Danny get together at a restaurant, Danny talks about how he felt like he was drowning during the swimming simulation. When he woke up in the hospital, he was well after a week of tests. Other Life's launch went smoothly as well. The foundation of the organization is confinement, with plans for penalties that might last decades or even centuries. Ren decides that she wants to get the truth about what happened. Danny makes an effort to convince her to flee or inform the media. Ren discloses that in an attempt to help her brother, she registered her father's patent, which he refused to use. However, Sam has stolen the patent. Ren and Danny head to the Other Life building secretly to search for Ren's data using Cass's ID badge. When they locate Byron's office, Danny stops him so Ren can use his laptop. She locates her hard drive and retrieves it, but Byron is able to notify the authorities. Ren strikes Byron and they both leave. Cass is captured by the police, but Danny and Ren are able to flee. Ren says that they need another life printer while they are driving away. They leave the city to reach the one at Robert's house. When they get there, the house is empty, so Ren starts working. The following morning, she wakes up at the desk, and while eating breakfast, she and Donnie pause to observe the scenery. Ren offers him an apology. She has his forgiveness. The image of her eye appears, and she wakes to the sound of her dad coming home. Ren confronts him and informs her father about Sam's theft of her work. She also understands that her father was the one who reported her missing. As she goes back to the printer, Ren discusses her swimming simulation. According to her, after Danny took it, he drowned because it made him feel like he was underwater. Ren intended for the experience to include multiple areas so that Jared would have a choice and a chance to escape alive and awaken. In her other life, she had the deadly and drug-like ability to change her memories. She also shows concern that it will eventually be refined to that same level by the firm. Robert will contact the TDA to raise a safety challenge, which will put Sam in a review for a while and give them time to complete it. When her father asks whether Ren has completed it, she prints the experience and is adamant that it will work. She goes to the hospital to offer it to her brother. After a short while, Ren gets excited when he wakes up, but then he starts to shake wildly. After a moment of doubt and tears, Ren pulls the plug. She spends the entire night at the hospital with him until Sam comes over. He talks about how he saw that Jared had chosen to live in a dream world instead of waking up. Ren begins to see flashes of the testing room, confused and yelling people, and Byron telling her to wake up. When the hospital vanishes, she returns to the beach by herself once more and finds that she is still in her other life. As she steps into the sea, she lets the waves wash over her. The water changes to distorted sounds and swirling images. After waking up in the testing room and punching Sam, Ren tries to destroy the tape. After a time, she settles down and has some tea while reflecting on her brother and her experiences with her father and Danny. In response to the interview's goals question, she states that she wants to provide people a unique opportunity to live a life they might. The programming is approved for public consumption by the interviewers. Ren apologizes to Sam for hitting him and informs him that she wants to leave the company to concentrate on research and development. She would leave the business with Sam, but she would retain the patent. Sam gets angry by this. Later, Ren talks to her father about Jared while attending Danny's funeral. She asks him to go with her to the hospital, but Ren gets a call from Sam because she needs to see something in person, he tells her. When she returns to the office, she sees Byron and Sam discussing her experience. When they learn that she was able to escape the prison, they become excited about the possibility of interacting with her, but Ren declines to assist and attempts to leave. After convincing her to take a seat and explaining why she ought to assist, Sam tries to make her go through the same thing again. Ren finds herself back in prison, where she begins to spend the days on her own and awakens by herself. Ren grabs Sam and wipes the liquid from her cheek and makes Sam go through the same thing. She and Byron watch Sam continue through the days until the system crashes, at which point they realize that they must wake him up or risk his death. Ren, however, holds off on doing so until he has experienced all 365 plus 1 days, just like she did. When Sam awakens, Ren and Byron leave him to cry in the chair. Later, Ren and her father meet at the hospital where they grieve Jared's death. Ren goes back to the beach's bridge to observe the sea. Thanks for watching, and remember to turn on your notifications to watch more movie recaps like this one.